Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the 10K to $2 million funding challenge, sponsored by Bespoke Funding Program. It is Wednesday, August 30th, 7 a.m., and that means we have just one more day of August. Today and tomorrow, August is done, and I cannot be more happy about that. The month of July and the month of August has just been absolutely horrendous. The markets are completely broken. They don't work anymore. And also, the trader pushing the buttons has made mistakes. But we're back. Glad you guys are here. Welcome in. Yesterday was very frustrating. Very frustrating. That's the first day. That's the first time in months that I can remember knowing that there was a news event, knowing and saying I should have taken the order off, and then absolutely, completely forgetting about it. Like, just forgetting about it. And then getting torched. absolutely torched when the news hit. That's the first time that's happened in a long time. And I was so frustrated by that loss yesterday. I mean, I've been thinking about it, just what a rookie mistake that was. And I feel like, personally, I just feel so like flabbergasted at myself and shocked that happened. But I also feel really, really sorry for anyone who was following along with me and just went right along with it. I think I even saw someone message in Discord right before news hit. After I went back and looked through, and I saw somebody right before the news hit. Hey, aren't you worried about the news? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I was just an idiot and just totally forgot that news was coming and just paid the price. That's what happens when you make mistakes, man. The market has no mercy. It doesn't care. Just one moment of just not paying attention to what's happening, That's how much the market just is completely ruthless. And it's not personal. It's just going to move the way that it moves. And if you're not paying attention to the warning signs about what's about to happen, you're going to get torched. And I got absolutely torched yesterday. Thank God I was trading with Bespoke. The spreads, the executions, all were executed exactly as intended. We only took the loss that we needed to take. We didn't get slipped higher, so we still only took our regular 1R loss on that. But it's just frustrating because we had been executing at a very high level. I think after going through those that losing streak, we'd won a couple in a row. Even the break-even trades, it was almost a TP. It went back to, but it was still just a great trade. And then we went and we did something just so rookie. And that's how I used to trade when I was in the 90% club. I would trade news on purpose. Not even just forgetting about it. I would actually just try to guess the news and get rich quick. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So my apologies to everyone. I understand if you're just completely ticked off and like, man, I came here to learn from you and you're doing this kind of trash. It is completely out of the ordinary for me to do something like that. But the stream yesterday kind of got off track anyway, and I think I just was having so much fun talking and messing around with everybody in the chat that I just forgot. I just totally forgot. So I can't say that it's never going to happen again. I'm human. I'm not Superman. I'm not God. I'm not perfect. So mistakes happen. But here's the beauty of risk management. We only took our normal 1R loss. Let's see. Our account balances have been updated. We're still 4% down and 3.5% down. So it's still very, very much okay. We can make mistakes and we can still be just fine. So I've been thinking, I thought about it all day. Like those kind of mistakes are the mistakes that eat me alive. It's not losing a trade. If I come in here and I do my analysis and I'm patient and I wait and then I take a trade and then I hit my stop loss because that's just the way that it goes, then that doesn't really bother me. I don't get upset about losses. But doing stupid things like yesterday, doing that kind of stuff is what really still bothers me. And I can tell you, ask my wife, I was junked up. I wasn't like pissed off and throwing things and revenge trading and going on tilt and whatever. I was just in a mood. I was just in one of those like sour moods. Like, God, I cannot, like all day. I can't believe I did that. I cannot believe that I did that. I can't believe that I broke such a golden rule of trading that I have in my holy book of trading Bible. So it was just very frustrating. I was very frustrated. I'm kind of done with it now. I'm over with it. It is what it is. You made a mistake. You can't go back and you can't change the mistake. So now you just learn from your loss. You learn from the lesson and you move on. And you just, you do your best to execute from this point forward. So that's really the only thing you can do. That being said, we've got news today. We've got some news today. At 8:15, we've got the ADP non-farm employment change numbers coming out. At 8:30, we have the preliminary GDP quarter-over-quarter numbers coming out for dollar. We also have the GDP price index coming out. At 10 a.m., you have pending home sales. I mean, there's those two, the GDP and the non-farm employment change. Those are red folder news events. 8:15 and 8:30. So guess what? I ain't doing anything until after that news hits, baby. No orders will be set. The thing about yesterday's is that typically the big news events happen around 8:30. And the news event yesterday was at 10 o'clock news. And so we had done the whole stream, and I just forgotten there was 10 o'clock news. But today it's normal 8:15, 8:30. We will wait. We'll just watch. We'll chill out. We can do analysis. We can talk about buys. We can look at pairs. We can do all of that. And then after the news hits, we'll see if anything interesting happens. So, but that's life. That's trading. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. No matter how hard you try, no matter how long you go, you will make a mistake. You will make a mistake. And hopefully your risk management is such and your mental fortitude is such that when you make that mistake, you don't just, it doesn't just trash your account and it doesn't trash your mental mindset. And you get back to it. You get back up and you just do what you have been doing for the last several months. And that's just coming in, sitting in the tree stand, waiting for that trophy buck to step out, take a shot, take him down, put him on the wall. That's it. That's all we're doing. Let me get over here into the chat and say good morning to some people. Chase and Saeem, Adrian, Alpha Bridge Red, Ezekiel, Mr. Alpha, Shanghai, Cisco, George Tucker, Daz, Bastian Schultz, David Dreams, Zularif MDH. Haven't seen you here before. Welcome in. Beeswax, Ductung Lu, and Michael D. Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know Saeem over in Discord has been posting some great trades, getting into some good entries, actually getting up 1.5, 2R, and then getting back to break even. I know how frustrating that can be, man. Just hang in there. You'll hit your TPs, and just stop trying to hit home runs, man. You might just need to adapt and go for those 1 to 2s and be happy. Be happy. Red Ezekiel, what's up? I'm just going back through looking at the messages here. One more day of August and I'm back to drawdown. Let's go. One more day. We have today and tomorrow. You have NFP on Friday. And then the true month of September begins next week. And I could not be more happy. I could not be more happy. So we will. The markets have been tough and brutal, man. If you're making profits in these markets, consistently making payouts, you're doing well, because most people are struggling right now. Good morning, Venators. High impact news today. Yes, sir. Shanghai, I was on the phone once while looking at the charts, and I opened a trade on accident while playing with my mouse during the phone call. Just 30 seconds before news came out. Got screwed. I can't. Whew, that's harsh. It does happen, man, but mine was not as much of an accident like that as it was just stupidity and ignorance on being aware of what was going on around me. Blame the stream. What did we decide? Call John again. John Hangdong Jones. John Hangdong Jones. It was all John's fault yesterday. Absolutely 100%. It was all John's fault. Alpha Bridge Brad, man, streaming and trading at the where'd that go? Oh, where'd that go? Oh, there, it popped down. And trading at the same time is just so difficult. I don't even know how you can do that. When I'm trading, I'm in some kind of tunnel vision. Streaming is a huge distraction. Well, for me, I'm going to be sitting here anyway, trading. And yes, obviously yesterday it distracted me. But in general, it's actually been very helpful for me. I'm going to be doing this anyway, and sitting here watching candles print and price action move and market structure be built. Oh, excuse me. Talking it out here on the live stream has actually been good for me. So overall, if anything, it's helped me be refine my patience even more and my discipline even more. When you know that people are sitting here watching you go through your routine and they're watching you take trades, then there is another level of discipline needed to be able to make sure that I am practicing what I preach, basically. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to say you should be patient and you should only take a few trades a week and you should only be taking A+ setups. And then I get in here and I do the opposite of that. So it's actually been very, very helpful for me personally to be sitting here streaming every day. So, but yesterday that was not the case. That was not the case yesterday. Day 3, week 1 on stream. What's up, Ashok? Welcome back in. Can always blame Kirby. That's my normal go-to. I pretty much blame Kirby as well, Cisco. Pretty much nonstop. He is always to blame for pretty much every ill in my life. 100%. What's up, LOL? I guess I can be the scapegoat. John was the scapegoat yesterday. He just talk about karma. That was karma paying us all back for letting John just completely derail everything yesterday. Nah, it's fine. It's not your fault, John. It is the trader's fault who pushes the buttons, and this trader pushed the buttons and just was an idiot. Just got my confirmation letter from a university for bachelor's degree. Whoa, dude, that's awesome. At least going to get a degree to keep my family's heart. Dude, that's great, man. That is great. Oh, congratulations, buddy. Sorry for being late. Can you make a quick bias check on DXY and EU? We've done absolutely zero analysis so far. And I'm happy for 900 subs. Yeah, we crossed the 900 subs on YouTube. So we're just a few more down the road. We'll cross that 1,000 sub mark, which is kind of big. It will also make us fully monetized on the YouTubes. So that's kind of a big deal. I did not think my goal was to be fully monetized within 9 months to a year. That was my goal when I started. 9 months to a year. And we're approaching 4 months. So around September 15th will be the 4-month mark. I don't think we'll hit it by then. I don't think we're going to pick up another 100 subs in the next 2 weeks. I mean, we'll see. It can happen for sure. It just depends, a lot of stuff going on. So what's up, Trading Night? Welcome in, man. We don't need analysis today. Just enjoy the news. Basically, and quite honestly, so if you guys will remember, let's go back to the start of the week. We'll jump over to DXY. And I want to show you something here. I had said that I did not think we would take out Friday's high. And obviously I've been completely wrong. So when that happens, what do? Well, you go back and you do analysis. Oh, sorry, we need to get on DXY. Here we go. Not on DXY. Now we're on DXY. I said, I don't think we're going to take out Friday's low. This was right here. I said, I think we're just going to continue up. We have a very clear, obvious draw on liquidity right above us. And I said, I don't think we need a pullback. I think we're just going to get a little retrace and then we're going to run this buy side liquidity. That was my analysis on Monday when we opened. And I said, if we did take out Friday's low, I would look for these 4-hour fair value gaps to hold price up. That if we took out Friday's low, I would be looking down in here. Go back and look at Monday's stream. Go back and watch. And I had said if we come below Friday's low, then I would look for price to rebalance down in here, and then we would continue higher. So my bias is still bullish dollar. I'm still thinking that this is the draw on liquidity that will pull price back up for the dollar. So far, my Monday analysis was completely wrong. Completely wrong. We obviously just trashed Friday's low yesterday, but we have pulled back now into part 2 of my analysis, was that if we take Friday's low, I could see price finding some support in these rebalance areas, and then we could push back up higher. Now, this can be completely wrong too, and eventually you have to go, my bias is no longer correct, and I'm going to step aside and let market do what the market's going to do, show me some more clues, readjust my mindset, and then come back in with a fresh perspective. So I am still, my part 2 analysis is still clear. We did take Friday's low. We have found some initial support here inside these rebalanced fair value gaps, and I'm still anticipating price to run up here into this liquidity. So I'm still bullish dollar, which means I'm still bearish GU EU. I said the same thing on EU. I said if we take out Friday's high, then I would anticipate, if we took out Friday's high, I would anticipate some of these areas up in here to be touched, and then we continue and resume our downtrend. So Euro, the euro dollar has been more aggressive than the DXY. DXY has, let's just look at this, has taken out Friday's low, but has failed to take out Thursday's low here. Euro has taken out Friday's high and Thursday's high. It's just been much more aggressive in running liquidity than the DXY has. So I don't know if that's going to be SMT. I don't know if Euro is just wanting to grab some more liquidity than the dollar needs to before the dollar resumes its path up and Euro begins to retrace down. So it's just interesting. It's a little bit more muddled on Euro dollar to me than it is on the DXY chart. DXY, we have not closed below this order block. Euro dollar, we've closed above this order block. So it's a little conflicting information for me there personally. So more than anything, I'm going to wait to see what the news does. If the news this morning plummets the dollar even more than where we are, then I'm going to have to consider a shift in bias at some point. If we're no longer respecting PD arrays, we're not expecting fair value gaps, we're not expecting order blocks, and we're making market structure shift, then you could anticipate an overall, we're in an uptrend. And really until this low gets broken and cleared, you're still in an uptrend on the dollar. So higher time frame, we're in an uptrend. We've taken out buy side liquidity. We've displaced higher. Here's the last up close candles. These 3 up close candles are what initiated this big drop into sell side liquidity. Now that we've tapped into sell side liquidity, we've displaced higher. Immediately after tapping sell side, we've just climbed higher, 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 higher. So you could see a pullback into this breaker. These 3 candles are your daily breaker right here. And once we closed up, we did come back into it. It found support and it's rallied higher. This could be a little retest of that breaker. But really until you get a clear, strong closure below this level, then I would still be looking for higher prices here. But if today we get this big, strong down close candle, and then, I mean, we're gonna have to consider that it's kind of seek and destroy profile. We've grabbed sell side, we've grabbed buy side, and now we're just going to come back and continue this. September could just continue this overall downtrend back down into these areas again. So, which typically you do get the fall kind of bump on indices. You can get some trending up seasonally, so you might see a weaker dollar potentially in September. But I still my eye just keeps going up here to these obvious draws on liquidity. We're right there. Typically when it comes up right here and it leaves it behind, it comes up and it doesn't just bull rush right through it. It's just setting itself up to do it at a different time in the near future. Not like weeks and from now, but like in the near future. Typically when you see price come up right to liquidity and leave it and it pulls back, it's just going to grab liquidity so that it can just hammer it. So that's still my anticipation here. So we'll see what kind of subs we can get for GU. GU is very similar. I'm not looking at, if you guys are chatting over there, that's fine. I'm not paying attention to chat right now. I'll catch back up with that in a minute. GU, we're just in a pullback. We've run sell side liquidity. We're pulling back up off of this previous leg down. If you're looking at the higher time frame on the daily, the swing low to the swing high to the swing low, it's pulling back up now right into a premium level. It's nearing that 50% area, so we're still in a discount. Technically, you would want to see price come back up in above the 50%, anywhere above here, potentially into the OTE area. So you could still see some higher prices on GU short term and EU short term before it continues to roll over and the dollar finds its strength again. But there's our overall draw liquidity down here as well. So again, we'll just be patient and wait. You've had this big retrace, you've grabbed liquidity, you're getting a pullback into it. So we'll watch and see how price, if news pushes up, you get a news release and it pushes back up into this area, and then you get a clear grab of liquidity on a lower time frame with displacement away. You might be able to catch that reversal there and the continuation down. Euro dollar, again, a little bit more muddied here on euro dollar because of just where we're at. We've grabbed sell side liquidity. We filled in this fair value gap. This is a weekly fair value gap right here. This weekly fair value gap has been respected and held price up aggressively. We've tapped into this swing level, all of this liquidity here with this fair value gap, and now you're getting a retrace. From the last leg down, you can see we've just been pushing. It kind of makes sense also as you come into the last few days of the month. You can see it looks like we're not going to be able to displace below that low. It looks like today and tomorrow, unless news in the next couple of days, we could close back below here. We very well could. But it looks like it's just wanting to grab this liquidity and then displace higher. If that's the case, if you've seen the way I've talked about how to determine what the next candle is going to do, I would say that your eye goes to the monthly high. If we cannot close down below the low of this candle, if we close up and it looks very similar to this body, then I would think September does, in fact, you get a wick down and then we begin our reversal here. But right now, I'm still bearish. Again, we could have a little bit of higher prices here. This daily fair value gap right here, there's our daily fair value gap over here. We were anticipating that if price was going to continue higher, it would touch this and pull back. It's exactly what it did. Came down into about 50% of that, pulled back, acted as support again, pushed up. And then it finally violated and traded through this fair value gap. And when that happens, we now anticipate this fair value gap to act as resistance. This becomes an inverted fair value gap, meaning if we're bullish, we're anticipating this fair value gap to hold price up, which is what it did. But once it's violated and traded through, we can now look to see price respect it as resistance and hold price down. And you can see once it's been violated and traded through, it has acted very strongly as resistance to push price down further. As we've come back up now from another a higher time fair value gap, we've now found support here. And we're now anticipating as price reaches back up towards this fair value gap, we would anticipate it acting as resistance again. So, and pushing price back down. So we could see a little pump. Maybe it's news. Maybe it's today. Maybe it's news tomorrow. Maybe it's NFP on Friday. There's a lot of red folder news this week. So you're going to get some very choppy, volatile, big pops when those news releases hit. So you could potentially see a pop up back up into this daily fair value gap, and then it rolls over here. But grabbing liquidity, and then we get displacement. So it's all just up in the air for me right now. I'm still bullish on dollar, which means I'm going to be looking for sells on GU and EU with the breaker block strategy that we're using here. So I'm going to stick to that, and I'm just going to try to, until I see more confirmation from the dollar about whether this is going, if this is a top here, this is a grab of liquidity, and now we're going to start trending lower. Then I'll need to see a very clear and convincing closure displacement below this low right here. You have this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. If we're going to put in a lower low now, we're going to need to close below here. So until we do that, I'm still going to remain bullish and consider this as a pullback from this leg up. Maybe we reach under these relative equal lows right here. We pop under here, grab some liquidity, maybe even come back down and wick into this daily fair value gap, into this daily breaker one more time, and then we head higher from there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in anticipation. There's my analysis. I'm sticking to it. We got news, and the first news drops in about 45 minutes, and then another one, another folder drops an hour from now. We'll jump over and look at GJ here. GJ yesterday had the big drop, and then we've recovered completely. So all of that, move up, move down. Technically, you do have, if you look at the 1 hour, this is a breaker right here on the 1 hour. This big candle up, this big up close candle, down close. We quickly run liquidity right here. We clear out this whole trend line. We clear out all these old swing lows. We grab a ton of sell side liquidity, and then we've displaced higher from there. So you have this 1 hour breaker right here that we have now closed and displaced above. So there's not a super clear fair value gap inside of here on GJ. So you drop down to your 30-minute. Do you see anything in and around the 50% level that's a fair value gap? No, you don't. There are some below the breaker that could be potentially, and you can see here on the 30-minute time frame, you could pull this down a little bit further, but let's just leave it here for now. And then on the 15-minute, not any real clear fair value gaps here on the 15-minute. They're all below. And if you look at this leg up, you might want to wait and not use the breaker, and rather would wait for for price to get back down into a discount, even an OTE level. That's where your first clear fair value gaps begin to show up. So Potentially, you could look for longs down in this area right around the OTE level for an entry, something like that. And that still gives you a nice, clean, discounted entry, stop in a safe place, and your TP is still well before any kind of liquidity gets tapped into, right? Filling in, basically refilling and rebalancing the fair value gaps and order blocks over here. So that's how I would kind of look at GJ, is using, I don't know that I would use this 1 hour breaker. If you used the 30-minute, there is that fair value gap does line up down here. That's the closest one, which is right on the OTE level as well. So if you use the 15-minute, you would want to be using either these two or these up close candles, and there's still nothing really super clear or convincing in there. I could see GJ making, a deeper pullback, getting into the discount here, grabbing liquidity on these lower time frames, which is just a pullback, a healthy pullback, and a good retracement of this push up on this displacement leg. UJ here is right inside of its 1 hour breaker. So the last up close or the last down close candles before we initiated this run. Here we're just consolidating. Down close, bam, displaced through, fair value gap. The problem is you have this massive BPR up here, a balanced price range, where you have price could want to come, and because we're bullish UJ, this is a counter trend trade. If you were thinking, oh well, I'll just get short UJ right here off of this, where are you going to put your stop? You got to put your stop probably up here, which is massive for UJ. And your TP is going to be down here. Remember on UJ, we had said this was, I'm just going to take this off for right now, just so we can see. This is a daily breaker. We grab liquidity, we've displaced higher, price came back down into this daily breaker right here and pushed up. We've now taken buy-side liquidity very clearly. We've clearly taken buy-side liquidity. We still have nice draws on liquidity above us that could be pulling price higher. This was the news yesterday. Pop up, pop down. And now we're right back to where we were before the news started. So still bullish on dollar, which means that doesn't mean we wouldn't see a run below these relative equal lows right here, back down into this daily breaker again. That's all still very much possible. Just because your higher time frame is bullish doesn't mean that you're not going to see days, sessions, weeks, whatever, where price moves against your bias. That happens quite a lot. So here on the 1 hour, you can see we're just kind of moving sideways. We've grabbed buy side, we've popped back down into the range. You've got sell side liquidity built up underneath all of this right here. There's liquidity all underneath here. So we could see a weaker dollar initially, maybe again, like the news hits, you get this pop down and then you get a run up, something like that. I'm just talking it all out. I could be wrong. I've been wrong since Monday. So most of the time, my weekly higher time frame analysis has been spot on. My draws on liquidity, I've been able to identify them. But a lot of the times, especially in July and August, even though the draws on liquidity have been clear, we've not been able to find our setups and participate in those moves to get to those draws on liquidity. So US 30 popped back up into this daily fair value gap. Again, we were anticipating price here to be held up at this fair value gap. It did not. It was traded through aggressively. We could anticipate this now becoming an inverted fair value gap, and any more strength that you see here on the indices, especially US 30, you would anticipate some weaker price action from here and a rollover. So big move down, a retrace, you could see a lower low made here. This fair value gap, this balanced price range, obviously very clearly held up. It's leaving behind. It's rebalanced now. There's a small little fair value gap here. There's another one higher up here. It's leaving behind a very clear fair value gap with a major volume imbalance down here. So you definitely have some very clear areas of inefficient price action underneath our current level. So again, if we get pops up back into this order block potentially right here, if you get a pop up into that, I could see a very clear scenario where prices fall off from there. So again, been wrong before, I'm going to be wrong again, and you just have to trust your analysis and see what you see, and then you make your decisions off of that. Be patient, be disciplined, have good risk management, be able to survive the errors in your analysis. And that's what we do here. I'm going to take that level off. I'm more interested in the fair value gaps and order blocks than I am old swing levels. All right, that's what I see. There's my analysis. 40 minutes in, and we're done. I'm going to jump back over, see what you guys said. John Zone says, my wife is listening and just said, John derailing something? That's so weird. Yeah, I bet she's never experienced that in your family life, has she, John? Shadow Trades, good evening, friends. Wasn't here yesterday. Well, thank God you were not here. Your account didn't get torched. LOL, in 4-hour time frame, we can see clear price action of EU fair value gap and run on liquidity on GU. Yep, I've sent a screenshot on Discord and my thoughts on GU. Well, let's go take a look, shall we? LOL Trader. We can definitely pull that up. LOL Trader, here we go. 4-hour order block, fair value gap. We've run relative equal highs. We could anticipate, his anticipation is a weaker GU, leaving behind some kind of fair value gap to get involved with into the drawn liquidity. Pretty much in line with what I'm anticipating there as well. So I'm still thinking that GU is going to go lower and show some weakness here. Dollar's going to, even though dollar is currently in the last 48 hours weak, I would anticipate still some strength there. So good looking chart and pretty strong analysis, and lines up pretty well with the way I see things. So I like it. It's clean. It's simple. Way to go. Good job. Casey, wow, how comes I just found out about you via the YouTube algo? This is some good education you're sharing. Casey, welcome in, man. It's because, I'll tell you why, Casey. It's because people hit that like button. That's why you found it. So hit that subscribe button. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. 7 a.m. New York time, and we're on for a couple hours every day at least. Sometimes 3 hours. It just depends on how good the chat is. And yesterday the chat was blowing up, but the chat screwed us over. John Hangdong Jones, man. Always John. It's John or Kirby. That's what we're going to blame it on. John or Kirby. One of the two. Stick around, you'll get those inside jokes. But man, I'm glad you're here. Welcome in. Yeah, we're just here every day. You can just don't get super excited just yet. I do not call a lot of trades. And if you're just waiting here for me to call trades, you're going to be pretty disappointed. I'm a very patient trader. I trade the 15-minute time frame. You can go check out my YouTube page. You can see the video there where I break down the exact strategy that I use and look for every day for my A+ setups. And they don't come. We went 2.5 weeks without taking a trade in July. It was brutal. brutal. And we've been in a little bit of drawdown, but here we are. We're pulling ourselves back out, and we'll be just fine. I'm really not worried about it at all. Again, if it wasn't for the stupid mistake we made yesterday, we would still be sitting basically at break even and ready to head into profit. So, but mistakes were made, price was paid, lesson was learned. Fritz, good morning, everyone. Kenneth here. What's up, Kenneth? Just like every night, LOL, I didn't miss anything in the past 35 minutes. You're good. Ben A says, if a BPR gets flipped, is it an inverted BPR? I mean, basically any PD array that gets violated can become inverted. I mean, so if an order block becomes violated, it turns into a breaker block. If a daily fair value gets violated, it turns into a inverted fair value gap. If a volume imbalance gets violated, then yeah. So all of these things you can use on the flip side to become the opposites, support and resistance, basically. We don't use specific like wick levels. We see wick levels with smart money concepts / ICT concepts. We see wick levels as liquidity areas, not supply and demand, not support and resistance. So we view support and resistance differently. We do think there is support and resistance, but we understand it where it's going to be versus where retail is going to say support and resistance is going to be right here. We're going to say support and resistance is right here above where they're expecting price to go. So that's a simple answer to your question. Pump up likes the chart. Yeah, I mean, the more likes there are, Casey, the more the algo does push it out there. So that's why we're always like, hey, click that like button. We do everything we do here for free. I thought about getting on today and being like, look, after yesterday, I'm giving y'all 1 month free. 1 month free. I'm not going to charge you for the next month. We don't charge anything. It's all free. But definitely, if you're looking to buy a challenge, use that discount code Venator with Bespoke Funding. You get 15% off and 85% profit split if you use the discount code Venator on any of the Bespoke Funding challenges. So we are sponsored by Bespoke Funding. Is our sponsor. They are the official sponsor of the live stream. And we do 10K account giveaways every single week. Every Friday, we're going to do a 10K account giveaway. This month, we're actually going to be giving away not only a 10K account every week, but I don't know which week I'm going to do it on, but 1 week I'm going to do a 25K account giveaway as well. And then we're approaching our 100th live stream in a row. We're approaching that. That will happen towards the end of September, if I did my maths right. I'm not great with maths, but if I think I did it right, someone can go back and look at it and see, and add it up for me if I'm wrong. You can check it out on the playlists and all the live streams we've done. But it should be somewhere near the end of September, and we'll be doing a 100K Bespoke Funding Challenge. We'll do a 100K giveaway for our 100th live stream. So super excited about that. Big stuff coming in September. Should be well worth your time to stick around and be active. Casey, we also have Discord. There's a Discord channel. I can pop that up in let me see if I can grab that. And anyone new here actually can feel free to jump in the Discord. It's free as well. It's just where everybody here on the live stream hangs out when we're not on the live stream. And we can post charts, get analysis, joke around, share memes, be idiots, the general Discord stuff that you see. But we're building up the Venator community, and you're welcome to be a part of it, man. All right. Not much more to see, say, or do here. So chat, what you got going on? Are there pairs you want to look at? Are there questions you have? Dude, I just look at this trade from yesterday and I'm so pissed. So pissed. I cannot believe I did this. I got to get rid of that junk. Just get it off my screen, man. I'm just going to clean up my charts here for a minute while you guys decide what's happening. All right, I think we're good there. I think we got it done. Whoa. All right. All right, there we go. I think we're set. We're good to go now. We can just wait for the news and chill out. Cases, I'm trying to analyze DAX for shorts towards the weekly draw on liquidity. I can't remember if I don't think I've ever pulled up a DAX chart ever, not once. I don't even know which feed to use on the DAX index. What do I use for? Oh, those are all 8cap. Does 8cap have a? What's DAX on 8cap if I'm not using futures? What's the symbol there? Pepperstone. Oh, the GER. Cool. All right. Pepperstone. We can use Pepperstone. It's fine. All right, let's just let's pop up. I haven't looked at DAX. I don't know anything about it. But it's a chart and it's price and it's liquidity. So let's just take a view. So we've been kind of in a making higher high, higher low. We've made a higher high. Looks like we put in a swing level here. If this month, unless this month closes lower, you will put in a short little swing level here. On the weekly time frame, you've just been in a consolidation. You've tapped into some buy-side liquidity here. Seek and destroy profile is what this looks like to me. Just an expansion wider here. So you've been grabbing buy-side, sell-side, buy-side. Failed to grab more sell-side. I definitely see your lower time frame draw on liquidity here. Nice little volume imbalance from this week. Had to open up, pop up. I mean, it's not super clean on the weekly for me here, just looking at it, but relative equal lows under here. Very clear to me, just you got this level here along with this fair value gap and this volume imbalance. So this volume imbalance right here. Whoa. Fair value gap inside of here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like price is going to want to pull up into this area here. It just touched this fair value gap here a couple of weeks ago. I mean, just based on price action, it looks like it may want to run back up there. It just took out this swing high, this swing high. This looks like the clear draw on liquidity to me. It failed to make a new low here, just tapped in and it's reversed higher. If you look on a 4-hour, you should see a breaker here, which you do right here. You had this up close candle. We ran sell side liquidity. We've displaced higher. Price is coming back down into this breaker block right here. There's not a really super clean fair value gap inside of here on this 4 hour, but that doesn't mean that this breaker, it's touched that breaker right here on the last 4 hour candle. And you're seeing, you know, depending on how you want to look at this, you may want to see price get back down into a discount OTE level here from this last leg up. Daily fair value gap very clearly resting below here. This large fair value gap right there. This is your 4 hour breaker, which also is your daily order block right here. So you have it's coming back down into the consequent encroachment of this wick. To me, the order blocks are wick to body are the most sensitive areas. So if you could see some consolidation in here, potentially see some move back down in just underneath yesterday's low. It doesn't have to. In fact, I don't know that it needs to. With this displacement higher, with this strong displacement close above yesterday's high and Thursday's high, it definitely signals to me like I feel like we're still bullish here. So any kind of pullbacks here, I'd be looking for lower time frame entries to continue a move up towards this drawn liquidity. Today could be the low of the week. Yesterday, maybe yesterday was the low of the week, an open, low, high, close scenario on DAX potentially. 1 hour, you can see some fairly relative equal lows underneath here. You're getting this nice rollover action here. This is your 4 hour breaker right here. Could be a nice little bear trap right here if price does displace through this level, these 3 candles, or this one candle, kind of either one of those. If price displaces below here and leaves behind a fair value gap, people are going to assume we're heading lower back down here, which again, you could. They're going to see this trend line. This is all retail. It's already been kind of liquidated here, but it could make a deeper dive. And when it does, they're going to be like, oh, we're going all the way back down here. I don't think that's the case. That would, to me, it feels more like a bear trap where you get displacement below. It induces sellers to get in right here, and then it runs this liquidity. Again, anytime price comes up to a drawn liquidity and then pulls away, it's typically just setting up a stronger run through that liquidity. People are like, oh, support and resistance, we're getting it. Look, support and resist, supply, demand. It's pulling back exactly the way I thought. Well, it's just engineering more liquidity. It's just reaching back down. It's inducing more sellers into the market, which is just more orders that they can use to run liquidity. So anytime you come up typically to a very clear drawn liquidity level and it just leaves it, just wait. It's going to come back down below a lower level, pick up more liquidity, and then run it. So that's kind of what I would anticipate there on this. I've never looked at this chart before. I've never looked at this pair before. So keep that in mind. I have no idea. But price is price, and liquidity is liquidity. So technically, these concepts work fairly accurately and well across multiple assets. So I could see a case where you run into this liquidity here, maybe on the 30 or 15 minute, you have a very clear drawn liquidity here. If my bias is bullish, I'm not going to counter trend trade that down. That might fit your strategy. That's not my strategy. That's not the way I like to, I don't like to take counter trend trades. So since I'm bullish, what I would prefer to see is price run liquidity, a sell side liquidity grab, then displacement higher, leaving behind a fair value gap. So what I would like to see potentially is come down into here, grab all of this sell side liquidity, and maybe it even comes all the way down into this breaker. This is a 4 hour breaker right here. This orange box, brown box, whatever color that you say that is. I don't know what color that is. It looks more brown and an orange, but then from here you see the displacement away, and then you get your fair value gap breaker entry somewhere in here. and then I target a strict 1 to 2. So I would just be looking at something like that. That's kind of that's a very quick DAX analysis. And again, I don't trade it, don't look at it. First time I've ever seen that chart in my life, I think. Can you look at Bitcoin? Michael Dahl, good morning. Yeah, we can look at Bitcoin. Where is the ACAP has a I don't know why I put bit. It's not bit, it's BTC, you idiot. There it is. I've actually done some analysis on this pair before. We just had a deep run into some sell side liquidity here. We have obviously had a pretty large, we've got some BPR here. So we've had an aggressive move up, some consolidation, aggressive move down. So all of these overlapping fair value gaps or BPRs, price is probably going to want to rebalance those for sure. I mean, it's just not a clean chart. There's no real trend happening anywhere with Bitcoin right now. It was kind of trending, and then we had this aggressive volatile move up. We grabbed buy side liquidity, consolidated, aggressive move down, grab sell side, back into this range. So not super clean price action here. Hard for me to even get a clear bias on Bitcoin at the moment. Yesterday's news pumped us back up. We're rebalancing these inefficiencies, these sell side imbalances here, and they line up with these BPRs. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we come up a little bit higher into these fair value gaps. Yeah, it's just I don't failure to displace below a wick below is not. I want to see displacement above new highs. If anything, failure to make a new high here. We didn't displace above this high. We didn't displace below this low. We're just consolidation. That's all we are. We're in consolidation. This is displacement above an old high. We displaced above this old high. We pulled back right into that order block. We pushed higher. We failed to displace above this high. We wicked above it, but we could not get a strong body closure above that high ever. And then we have failed to displace below this low. So here's your swing level. Basically, you're still inside this dealing range. You've just grabbed liquidity on the top side of this dealing range right here, and you've grabbed liquidity on the bottom side of this dealing range right here. And now you're just back inside. So choppy, sloppy, nothing particularly clear to me on that I would have a very clear higher time frame daily bias. It just does. It looks like it does this a lot. Very tight range, explosive move. Very tight range, explosive move. It's just like, I don't know, man. It almost just feels like a complete gamble of which way is this thing going to pop up or down next. It's hard to say. There's no real clear direction for Bitcoin for me. Even if you go down to the lower time frames, it's just, what is this? What is this? And then chapow, and then here we are back into tight little price moves. So that's I know that's may not be super helpful for you, but I don't see anything clear. I don't see any good clean price action. I don't see good. It just does. I mean, this is just horrible. What is this? I don't even know. No good vibes, I guess is what I'm saying on Bitcoin. On EU, are you looking for a displacement below the low of the day, then a short on a breaker setup too? Yes. I did go through that earlier. I'm still bearish bias, so I'm still thinking maybe news pops you up into this daily fair value gap again, inverted. So I'm looking for a run of liquidity. Could be, I mean, technically, I guess you could consider this a run of liquidity. It did get above yesterday's high. So if we get any further pushes up and then displacement lower, I would be looking for lower prices on EU. Yeah, sorry, Ben. I know that's not super helpful, but it just doesn't look good. So I'm just being honest with you, man. I guess there's people that really see and understand Bitcoin and how it moves. It just does not look like any of the other price charts that I would want to get involved with and anticipate good, clean moves on. And it very well may do that in the future. Just right now, it just looks like crap to me. So we got SMT with DXY and EU today on yesterday's low. Yes, we did talk about that, Michael Dial, a little bit. That euro has been way more aggressive in its move than dollar has been on its low. So potentially, again, more signal for weakness to me that DXY has not shown a willingness to be as aggressively weak as the euro has. The euro's taken out all these lows. The dollar is still well above that. Not that it can't put in a bottom wick and take that out today. Very well could. But right now, euro has definitely muddied the waters and has shown a lot more strength than the dollar has shown comparable weakness. So we are definitely kind of onto it because of that. And if we see any now weakness in euro, then we would anticipate further strength with the dollar and we can maybe catch a move down. So we'll see. We'll see. If my analysis is wrong and my higher time frame bias is wrong, I'm more than happy. I am absolutely thrilled not to take a trade and you know what? My analysis is wrong and it's going to be wrong. Your analysis is going to be wrong. This is where a lot of traders get mucked up really bad because they get their bias wrong and they lose a trade. And then the next time that they do analysis, they just remembered, oh, I've already screwed up my analysis once. And so I can't trust myself anymore. Well, you're never going to have 100% certainty. It's called bias. It's not called law. It's not called the 10 Commandment bias. It's not called perfection. It's called a bias. It's not called certainty. So a bias just means what you think is likely to happen. So you have to make trading decisions on what you feel is likely to happen based on the way price has moved previously and responded to certain patterns or PD arrays or whatever it is your strategy is. Again, you don't have to use my strategy. Whatever your strategy is, there is no certainty in trading except that you're going to lose. That's the only certainty there is. You're going to be wrong. Your analysis is going to be wrong. Your entries are going to be wrong. And you're going to lose. That is the cost of doing business as a trader. So good risk management, be patient, wait for your A+ setups, and a mediocre win rate, just an average 45 to 50% win rate with a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, you will get rich. But you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to be patient. Accept loss, accept failure, accept being wrong. And if you can't do that, if you can't be okay with being wrong, this is not the business for you. It being wrong is going to jack up your mindset and your emotions and your psychology. You're not ever going to be okay in this business. You're going to struggle and fail over and over and over again. So get okay. Whatever you need to do mentally to get okay with being wrong quite a bit. The hell? What was that? What the heck happened? Did it just freeze up for you? Anyone? Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was like a glitch in my MacBook. I don't know if it was my internet. If it was internet, I think it would have just cut off and we would have lost the stream altogether. So, uh, I think it must have been my MacBook because the mic muted. I heard it in my ears and then I looked down and I saw that everything was just frozen. So maybe my MacBook just glitched for a minute. I don't know what that's about. That's unsettling. Anyway, that's that. Sorry about that. Uh, my MacBook was like, "Hey, bro, get off your soapbox." It was just like, "Shut up, man. They've heard enough." I don't know what that was, but I'll need to just do some cleaning up maybe on my hard drive or something. I don't know. I'll go back and look and see what was going on with that. Streamlabs, maybe. I don't know what it was. It was weird. John says getting kicked in the nuts makes it hard to trust yourself. It's like being a linebacker. There are times you're going to get the stuffing knocked out of you, and then there are times you're a hammer. Yeah, very true, man. Very true. There's times when you're going to be the nail, and other times you're going to be the hammer. And you just have to understand that that's the way this works. And you just try to be the hammer more than you are the nail. And when you are the hammer, you try to hit more nails, as many of them as you can, before you become the nail again. The heat is getting to it. Maybe, I don't know, it feels really good in here. My air conditioning system has been pumping hard. We get daily here in Houston. The electrical grid here in Texas is managed by an organization called ERCOT, 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 and we get emails every day right now from ERCOT saying, please conserve energy today. The grid is maxed out. The grid is maxed out. I don't know, you guys may not remember this, but a couple years ago, we had a big freeze here in Texas, a massive hard freeze here in Texas. And ERCOT had several power plants down for maintenance. And most of the Texas lost power for days. And Texas is not necessarily equipped for cold weather, okay? It's Texas. It's not, our winters are very mild. I mean, in February, probably the end of January and early February is the coldest time of the year. And we might get a couple of days below freezing, which is 32 Fahrenheit. There might be a few days in late January or into February where it gets below freezing. And there was a week straight or more of like low teens, single digit weather. And the electrical grid just crashed. Everybody was trying to heat their homes. The electrical grid couldn't keep up and it just shut down. It just quit. It just stopped. And then again, in the summer, when it gets super hot, the grid just gets overwhelmed and everybody's trying to run their ACs to not die from the oppressive 110-degree heat. And so we get emails daily on conserve energy, raise your thermostats, all that kind of stuff. But we just moved into this brand new townhome about 4 months ago. Super efficient. Our air conditioning does not run all the time, and it still stays extremely comfortable in here. It's not the heat. If anything, I could turn the AC up in here. It's kind of a little chilly. But I don't know. That's the first kind of weird little freak out we've had on the stream. Besides just there's been a couple times where my internet has glitched and the fiber has gone out completely. And I can't do anything about that until it just comes back on. But it wasn't internet. It was definitely something software related, I believe. All right, news coming up here in just about a minute. You can see price kind of rolling around here. I'm going to pull up my Forex Factory webpage here. I'm not going to put it up on the stream. We'll just stay here on Eurodollar. So we have the ADP non-farm employment change. Last time they missed this number huge. They were expecting a low number and it came in at 324,000. Again, they're expecting it to be low at 194. Yesterday's numbers were showing that there were fewer jobs created, which was why the indexes rallied and the dollar crashed yesterday. Today, last time they missed these ADP numbers big time last time. There's your initial pump up into some buy side liquidity. They were anticipating 194,000 new jobs. And I'm still waiting for the numbers here. 177. So definitely fewer jobs. They came in lower than expected. This is going to drop the dollar even more. And you're seeing the pump on Eurodollar here back up into this daily fair value gap. DXY should be dropping. And it is. And the indexes will probably pump here a little bit. So basically why this is happening is the markets are saying, look, the Fed interest rates are doing their jobs. They're weakening the economy, which is going to slow down inflation. Basically, the Fed's job is to see, do we need to keep raising interest rates? And one of the ways that they determine that is job creation. And if it's a hot job market, it means the economy's still pumping and moving forward, and interest rates can crush job. If interest rates can make it more difficult on businesses, it will eventually hurt the economy. It will hurt job growth, create fewer jobs, thereby slowing down the economy and a lot of people say push us into a recession, which would bring inflation down, which is really what they're most concerned about. Well, it's what they say they're most concerned about. Let's be honest. They're concerned about themselves. They're not concerned about us. They're concerned about staying in power. So whatever they need to do to make the economy look and be okay especially as we head into an election year, I guarantee you, they're going to say whatever it is that they need to say and put whatever numbers out they need to put out to make themselves look good. So you're seeing some buy-side liquidity here get tapped into, reaching right back up into that daily fair value gap. We still have the GDP numbers coming out in 15 minutes, so there's still nothing to do here on any kind of setup. We're not pushing buttons. We're not doing anything until after the next Red Folder News event at 8:30, so we still have 15 more minutes. But it is interesting to see this initial run on liquidity there. Same on GU, initial run on liquidity here, pumping back up into its daily fair value gap as well. DXY dropping down, taking out the low of the day yesterday. Still has not taken out Thursday's low like EU has. So we'll see if how the GDP numbers come in and what that does and what kind of reactions we get. But with lower ADP non-farm employment change, my guess is NFP is going to come in lower as well, which means you could see a weaker dollar here throughout the next 3 days to start September, maybe you get a little bit of a pullback, and this is the reversal that the other this is a grab of buy side liquidity, and you start to get a reversal. Again, if we get some displacement below here, then my bias would probably reflect a change, and we would start looking for lower price action and new liquidity levels. But this is kind of my swing level on the dollar that I would be anticipating kind of a break of structure here. If you get a clear, clean break of structure here, then this order block is not going to hold up, and it becomes violated. It becomes the breaker, and you could see a return up into a fair value gap or a volume imbalance or something that sends price lower here. So we'll just watch and wait. Until that happens, I'm going to remain bullish. We're in an uptrend. Just because you're getting a couple days of a pullback does not mean that this uptrend has been changed. So don't switch your bias up just because you're seeing a couple days of a pullback here and you're seeing some aggressive bearish price action. It's left of this drawn liquidity in place. It came right up to it and said, nah. Oftentimes you'll see some liquidity be grabbed, and then you see a big bull run right into that liquidity level. Dad says, what do you think about the GU setup I just posted in Discord? I wasn't sure which breaker to use, so decided to sit it out. Let's go take a look, Daz. See where you put it. Did you put it in trade ideas? Oh yeah, there it is. All right. Here's Daz's setup. So Daz is bullish on GU and anticipating higher prices. So what is this? The 15 minute? Okay. So on your 15 minute here, you have this run of liquidity. You're seeing displacement away. Where did this run on liquidity begin? I would probably go up to a higher time frame, Daz, on this and look and see. If I was unsure about a lower time frame breaker, which one I would want to use, I would look to a higher time frame and see if there's a clear defined breaker to look at. If I was going to use the one to the left here, I would probably want to include all of those up close candles. That's just the way I like to use it. And then halfway through that would be down here into this fair value gap, which would have given you your sniper entry right about there. And then your order block, your stop would have been below this candle here. And you probably would be hit and take profit right now. Not that these candles don't work. If I was going to use these, again, I would use these four right here as my breaker. And 50% of that, if I go across, about 50% of that is right here inside of here. And again, you might have gotten a sniper entry right there. Just wicked in and wicked out. That's kind of the way I think I would have looked at that. These are not bad. I don't like to use just the very top candle. If there's a couple together, I'm going to use them in conjunction because those are typically a higher time frame breaker, which carry typically for me carry a little bit more weight behind them. But either one, I mean, you can use, I think ICT, in fact, just uses the last one. He doesn't necessarily use all of them. I like to use all of them in conjunction. This is the move up that initiated this run on liquidity down. So all of these together, and then you just come across, find that fair value gap. There it is. Bam, you're in. But either way, not bad analysis either way. And there's not a right or wrong answer there. So if I was looking at this on GU right now, and I had said, this is just what Daz was looking at right here. So there's your run on liquidity. You get here's your displacement. this displacement came from this liquidity run. Where did this liquidity run begin? Probably up here on this high. If I used all of this together as a breaker, all of those candles together, where's the fair value gap? Right here. I probably wouldn't have gotten triggered because I would have wanted to use as close to 50% as I could, a full rebalance of that fair value gap. Probably would have gotten swerved in that TP. But if you had just gone for 50% of the fair value gap inside the breaker, you probably get a sniper entry and you've probably already hit TP there. If you go up to the 30-minute, you can see, let's see, is there something more clear? No, not really. The 1 hour, still not super clear. 15, what about 10? 10, you may have been able to use these right here and get a little bit more refined, and then 50% is your sniper entry on the 10-minute time frame. You probably definitely would have gotten that sniper entry right there. Your stop would have been below the breaker and the candle that created the fair value gap. I probably would have just left it there. And you get a sniper entry and TP hit. That's what I see. All right, 6 more minutes until the rest of our news hits here. Cool. No, that's a great strategy, man. And you need to come up with your own rules and your own entry techniques. And those are valid, brother. Those are valid. Just the more, get 100 trades in a live market and collect that data and see what your win rate is, see what your maximum losing streak is. And then you can move forward from there pretty confidently. If you can execute every day and just follow your rules, then you can pretty confidently forecast out the next 100 trades where you will be. So dollar going to make some crazy dance moves. Yeah, likely. Seems like Trump is ready to make America great again. Dude, that dude is, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't want to get a lot into politics, or that's not what the stream is about. That dude's a trip. That dude's a trip, man. Yeah, I wasn't clean enough, which is why I didn't take it. It just depends on what clean looks like to you, for sure. So if in doubt, stay out. Just protect your account. There's no harm in not taking a trade. If you have any confusion on clarity, or if there's just something that doesn't sit right with you, don't take the trade. Don't take it. But if it's an A+ setup, execute it fearlessly and don't worry about the outcome. Trump does what he says, unlike every other president. Getting into Trump politics is definitely not a good idea. Got 25 trades in the live market, quarter of the way there. Good job, Saeem. You're almost there, buddy. It won't take you long. Problem is he says some crazy shit. That's the thing, man. It's like, obviously when he was president, the economy was humming, but it's just like, I just wish you would just shut up. Can you not just institute your policies and ideas and keep your mouth closed? Can you not be a jerk? Can you not be a bully? Can you not be like, our culture is attracted to the extravagant. Our culture is attracted to the extreme. And so when someone stands up and I don't know, just is brash and harsh and says things in ways that are headline grabbing, we seem to think that they're the most important and smartest and most charismatic. And there's a lot of things that I like about Trump's policies, but there's a lot of things about him that I'm just like, dude, do you have to be such a DB, man? Because I bet a lot more people would get on board with you if you just would stop being a butthole. Like, just institute your policies and get off freaking social media and stop calling people fat face. Like, really? So it's like a love-hate relationship with Donald Trump. Building a wall always made me laugh. Yeah. What's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald Trump? Trump, can you not be a meme? Yeah, a wet raccoon doesn't have billions. uh, Also, how did we get to a place where the most important rulers and government officials are geriatric? How did that become a thing for us? And that's all over the world, except maybe Canada. Trudeau's not geriatric. I feel bad for a lot of Canadians right now, though. Not a great place to be. Like, why do we have to elect 80-year-olds to make all of the decisions for us? I don't understand this. There are very smart people that are 40, 50, 60 years old. Why do we have to keep electing guys that are more likely to have dementia than anything else? All right. And next news events coming out. Back to trading. The preliminary GDP was expected to be 2.4, came in at 2.1, a little bit lower. Goods trade balance came in a little bit hotter. So again, you're going to see a little bit of a pump here, I think. If the economy is slowing down more than expected, this is going to pump euro and it's going to push the brakes on any dollar bullishness, at least short term here today. And if that's the case, I'm fine with sitting out today. If this just wants to pump higher, I'm going to let it. And if my bias is incorrect, it's incorrect. And I'm fine just sitting on the sidelines and watching things rocket off. But if we were to get displacement now after grabbing liquidity, I will be more than happy to participate in a bearish move here. So if news is what's going to pump us up, and if news is what's going to throw the dollar down, that's fine with me. We'll let it go. Not interested in trying to just switch my bias on the fly. I've tried to do that many times before and gotten burned. I've got to sneeze. I can feel it coming. So basically what I'm anticipating is to see, after this run of liquidity, to see displacement away in the opposite direction and trap all these buyers. The UJ breaker that I told you, pointed out at the beginning of the stream, is playing out nicely. I don't know if anybody took that. I would, again, this is a counter trend trade, but it could be playing out. GJ didn't come back and give you a very good deep pullback here. Indexes are trying to push higher on all of the news today. S&P, NAS, US 30, all of them finding strength here as we head into the 8:30 open. At last, my bias is clear. I'm going to look for sells from tomorrow. Well, maybe. We'll see, Saeem. I think breakout traders already at break even, I guess, so they're fine, basically. I mean, potentially, yeah. Anybody that was trading a break of the highs is definitely probably at break even at this point. We'll see how price responds. Hey, buddy. I'm gonna go let my dog out real quick. So he's the other ones aren't down, but Remy's down here, and he's, I guess, got to do some business, and Mama's not up. So oh, and now he's vomiting. Oh, that's great. Yay. Don't you love it when your dogs just vomit? What the heck, dude? All right, hold on, y'all. I gotta. What a freaking day! Give me just a minute here. Let me deal with my dog for a second. Hold on, y'all. Oh my God. That was disgusting. That was one of those. The smell, the temperature, and the texture of cleaning up hot dog puke. Actually, you all probably really would have enjoyed listening to me just gag my head off for the last 30 seconds. That was disgusting. I don't know what's wrong with him. Actually, I do know what's wrong with him. I just can't tell you. My wife would kill me. Shadow Trades taking a sell at 09227. Oh, what are you trading? Aussie? No. What's your Oh, you're selling EU? What are you selling this selling this order block here? Is that what you're selling? Gotcha. I got you. all of these PD arrays have been violated. This order block's been violated. We've created a new order block. It definitely feels like dollar, even though it left this behind, it feels like it wants to roll over here. You can see you've had a market structure shift, fair value gap. It's heading lower, respecting new PD arrays. The daily, the higher time frame, weekly and daily are still in play, but you can see you've had volume imbalance, gap down, volume imbalance, gap down. Often when that happens, it's going to continue when you get those aggressive gaps, and then it follows through, and a gap, and then a follow through. Typically points to a rollover, or depending on which way you're going. There's just really nothing good and clean here. You're not getting any sort of displacement currently off of these highs from the news. I'll probably stay on here for another 20 minutes with y'all. And then I'm probably going to call it stream. News has sent price up since the news has hit. I want to wait. I'll give the couple 15-minute candles after the news clears out to see are we going to get any kind of aggressive move away. Initially, it does not look like that's the case just right off the bat, but things can change in the next couple of 15-minute candles. If we start to see some aggressive displacement away, we might get our setup. But again, like I said, if your bias is wrong, if your plan for the day does not pan out, don't chase a trade. Don't just flip around and start. It's the FOMO, it's that pain that you feel that is making you feel like I need to chase this. I need to be able to flip on a dime. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's going to be plenty of days when your bias is going to be correct, your setup plays out, and you can execute. Just stay away from days where your bias is wrong. You don't have to take a trade every day. You don't have to trade every order block. You don't have to trade every fair value gap. You don't have to trade every break of structure. Wait for your setup to appear, and if it doesn't play out like the way you anticipate and expect it, walk away. You're going to be more proud of yourself for not taking a trade and just following your rules. It will build confidence in yourself that you can make good strategic decisions in the moment. And changing your bias on the spot does not necessarily mean that you're making a good strategic decision. It might mean that you're just giving into FOMO. And you can't stand the thought of price leaving and going in a different direction and being like, oh, it's going to keep running. I was wrong for the day. I'm going to just get in. I'm going to make up some analysis and reason for me to kind of come up with a new strategy on the spot to do this. Don't do that. You're going to just live in the 90% club of failure if that's the way you operate as a trader. Don't do it. I don't know of any free trade copiers that I would recommend. Looks like somebody said FX Blue. I don't know if it's free or not. Traders Connect being recommended quite a bit on Twitter. Supposed to be better than Social Trader Tools. I have not checked out. I have looked at FX Blue before. Wasn't a big fan of what I saw. I don't know anything about Traders Connect that Michael's talking about. Yeah, and I don't know of any free trade copiers at all. you're seeing the indexes here with that news and the 8:30 open kind of give you a little bit of a Judas swing, perhaps, where it's pulling back off of that initial news release. So that's kind of interesting there. Dollar still showing a lot of weakness on all of its pairs here. Low of the week could be in, boys. I mean, you had your Monday. It didn't take out last week's low, but it did take out Monday's low yesterday, and then we've shot higher. So our analysis just could be completely off this week, and that's fine. Red folder news events can do that. Those weeks that there's red folder news, big economic news that drops, can definitely throw things into haywire. You're coming to the end of the month. All of those things combined, it's just, may not be the most ideal trading conditions. So happy to step aside and just watch candles print and see what's going on. Social trader tools, Saeem, that's who I use. Saw JCap say he needed a better payment plan than Social Trader Tools, and everyone in the comments said Traders Connect is better with the payment plan, and the user interface is better too. I have not checked it out, so I don't know. Cannot comment. Do your own research and read the reviews. Make sure you're thoroughly convinced you can trust the trade copier you decide to use, because when you're talking about managing live funds and challenges, you want to have confidence that the system is going to work as intended and needed. Just ripping higher here, boys. The jobs numbers are showing that there are fewer jobs available in the marketplace, which again fundamentally is pointing to the pain that the Fed has introduced with higher interest rates. Their job to bring down inflation, and a lot of that's going to, when they raise interest rates, it's going to make it more difficult for businesses to operate, which is going to make eventually create fewer jobs, which is going to bring the economy down, which is in turn theoretically supposed to lower inflation. I don't know, man. Things still feel, everywhere still feels extremely expensive right now. It looks like everyone is still in a massive struggle paying for stuff. Hey, babe. Excuse me a minute. Doggy time. They found another murderer in our backyard this morning. Sorry, I had to relay the vomit story to my wife.
Oh,
No, they don't know. They just know he threw up.
you just saved my wife's.
I was gagging. It was so hot
Okay.
and mushy. It's just, it's like the smell.
Okay.
God, it was
Wow. Sorry, guys.
it was gross. DXY dropped perfectly from that breaker. Yeah, I mean, it's probably, if you were long, if your bias had switched, then you definitely had some good opportunities to get in on that breaker there on GU. Definitely. Don't use my bias. Use your own. Do your own analysis. Any kind of vomit is just not okay to clean. It's the worst thing. Kid vomit, animal vomit, it doesn't matter. Human vomit. The smell, the texture, the warmth, the cleaning it up, it's just, it is the most gag worthy all combination of factors. And my wife and I, we laugh so hard at each other when one of us has to clean up vomit, because it's just that reflect that reaction, that reflex. It's the funniest thing in the world to us to watch other people gag, because you know exactly what that feeling is, and you've done it before, and you know what they're feeling. It's, oh my gosh. It's so funny. She wasn't down here. That's why I had to turn the camera off and the mic off when I went to go clean that up, because I did not want you all listening to me do that. If she was here, she would have been laughing her butt off. But she missed it. Oh, there's Kirby going after it. God, Kirby. I know y'all heard that old man back there gagging his lungs up. He doesn't throw up. He just, I guess they call it coughing or something. I don't know. I think he has congestive heart failure. Fingers crossed.
Oh my gosh.
But the dude just starts randomly gagging and coughing up, and then nothing comes up. He's like a old man that's been smoking for 70 years. I don't think I'm going to get any opportunity on the Forex pairs today. But depending on what happens here with the indexes, if they show any sign of weakness here, the news did not, the indexes are not reacting to the news the way the Forex pairs are. You're not getting those aggressive pumps that you would anticipate if the dollar's showing so much weakness like it is. Typically, you would see the indexes responding similarly in the opposite direction. And you're not getting those pumps right away here. So potentially, if you get a liquidity grab and displacement away lower, we might be able to get some kind of play there. because the foreigns and the forex pairs are not giving us that at all. Yeah, that's about all I see today, guys. I don't again, when you're I'll just reiterate this one last time and then we'll probably call it a day. But once you're biased, once your plan doesn't happen. Definitely just want to step aside here. Just let the markets do whatever you want it to do or whatever they want to do. If it's not in line with your plan, if it's not in line with what you wanted to see, if it does the opposite, don't chase it. You're going to regret that decision. Casey, thanks for stopping in today, man. Glad you like it. We'll be back every day. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Of course, follow me on Twitter. If something develops and off the stream, I will post it on Twitter and Discord. So make sure you're on the Discord. Make sure you're following on Twitter. And you can make sure that you're in the know. And when we make a move, you can follow along with us. You don't have to take them, but you can at least follow along and see what we're doing. So until then, you guys stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you're at. Happy hunting, and we'll catch you guys in the morning, 7 a.m. New York time. Adios, y'all.